The cardinal virtues are from the Greek world, the world that predates the coming of God amongst us as a man. The cardinal virtues are prudence, fortitude, temperance, and justice. Prudence is often better known today as wisdom, fortitude as courage, temperance as self-control, although I'm not sure that anyone in our culture can define that. Living a life marked by wisdom, courage, self-control, and justice seems like a good idea. It seems that that kind of living, that kind of life, would be a good life to live. As we live through and work through our 20th year at St. Andrew's Academy and celebrate and give appropriate thanks to God for His gracious mercy to us and His preservation of this school, it is right, I think, to ponder upon Plato's and Aristotle's cardinal virtues. These virtues have always been a part of a classical education, and as St. Andrew's is in that classical model of education, it is right for us at this juncture to restate, as it were, the basics. These cardinal virtues are indeed basics. The earliest reference is from Plato, and he seems to indicate that these cardinal virtues were a common understanding of the good life even back in his day. Our word cardinal comes as a borrowed word, really, from Latin. The original Latin word is cardo, meaning hinge. The virtues called cardinal are hinge virtues. One's life swings well without squeaking, so to speak, when we inculcate and live out these virtues. Aristotle argued that living the cardinal virtues would create human flourishing. I think he's correct. Whenever we see wisdom applied, justice acted out in personal relationships and in the public square, whenever we meet men and women with courage enough to do the right thing, whenever we see self-control used in the world around us, we think how good and right these actions and these character traits are, how they help our culture, how they help our communities, how they help our society, how they will help us all to live a better life. But there is one virtue that I want to focus on tonight as we think towards this new school year and think on 20 years of this education that St. Andrew's Academy has been offering. This virtue is not one that the Greeks thought of. In fact, they would likely laugh at it if you were to raise it back in the day. Achilles and Agamemnon, Odysseus and Ajax would not understand this virtue, which the Anglo-Saxons came to understand was the most courageous virtue. The Greek warriors were after kleos, or glory. That was their version of immortality. And in a sense it worked, didn't it? We all recognize those names of Greek heroes I just mentioned. That was what they wanted. They wanted the glory so that they would be remembered. The Anglo-Saxon culture in England came to understand a slightly different sort of heroic ideal. Yes, Beowulf looks like a glory-hungry warrior as well, and many of his contemporaries were. But the Anglo-Saxons came to have a great hero in a short amount of time after they took over England. Their hero was Jesus, the Son of God. Yes, they made him a little into their own image, I think, but the Anglo-Saxon hero Jesus was a real fighter. In fact, he conquered Satan and death, even when it looked like he was losing. The secret weapon of that hero was the virtue that he brought into the world, the virtue that the Greeks would never have thought of. That virtue is charity. Simply termed in our current culture, love. Unfortunately, our term love is rather unhelpful, since the word love can mean so many different things, from I love my brothers on the battlefield to I love pepperoni pizza and ice cream to, and it goes on, and it can mean so many different things. Charity is more helpful because it gives us that connotation of self-giving, selflessness, self-sacrifice. This is the love that becomes the chief of the theological virtues. The Greeks could not imagine that love and her handmaid humility could possibly be more powerful than the kleos or glory of bravery, courage, and force of arms. This is where the Greeks didn't get the full picture. They didn't understand that love can overcome a multitude of sins, that love can heal, that love can build up, that love can conquer death itself. This is a far too humble approach to life for many heroes. Perhaps for many of us today. This is an approach to life, however, that the Anglo-Saxons actually figured out in their war-loving, battle-loving culture. Their hero won with the virtue of charity, love, which is even more powerful than force of arms. And we all know how much the Anglo-Saxons liked a good battle axe and a two-handed broadsword. This year, if I can state my desire, I would like to see our 20th year at St. Andrew's be marked by charity, by love. Our memory verse this year is all about love. Our calling is to live out love for God and love for our neighbor. Our mission has always been to equip our students with the tools of learning and to endow them with the wisdom of the ages so that they may serve God and their fellow man with virtue and strength. The chief of the virtues, my friends, is love. The rest of the virtues, faith and hope, and the cardinal virtues of wisdom, courage, self-control, and justice, they all find their ultimate fulfillment when living under the virtue of love. The great Anglo-Saxon heroes showed us the way of love. Only in love can we truly be human and live out the good life of the virtues. For those virtues truly flourish in the life of love. And human flourishing is the result of that kind of living. Students, faculty, staff, parents, friends, and family of St. Andrew's Academy, may I encourage you to live a life of self-sacrificial love, for that is what it means to be truly human.